right, hi everybody, and welcome back to the Producer's Desk. Anna Zielinski here. All right, today we are talking about locations. We're talking about let's get creative with locations. And I'm really excited to do this episode because for me as a producer, this is the one time we get to get out of the office, we get to get out in there and do some really fun stuff. And the location scout is one of my favorite things to do. Love it, love it, love it. Because it's like you don't know what you're going to find. You're on a mission. You're trying to find this specific location or locations, and you've got a few things that you want to go see. But how's it going to turn out? So I love this so much. So let's talk about the importance of a good location. For a film. When you're watching a great movie is when you're just totally immersed into the world that you've been drawn into. And a lot of times we forget that they are shooting next door or they're shooting in, this beautiful city. And it just totally immerses you. But when you step back and you look at where, this room that they shot and the beautiful architecture inside or the city that they're in and then there's this badass boat chase down the Seine River. And you're like, whoa, okay, wait, they sourced all these things to pull this together. So the location's really literally like a character in the movie. So it's really important that we find great locations. But on an indie budget, we are always struggling to find that balance between an amazing location and that production value it brings and the dollar. How much can we spend, for this? So, it's a bit of a struggle, but it's possible. And that's why I titled this one, Let's Get Creative, because you really have to put on that hat. But when you do it, you're going to find gems. Okay, so let's jump right into it. I want to start with locations versus sets right away. So when you are talking about location, you're literally talking about the place that you would put on the call sheet. This is where we're going to shoot these scenes today. And the set could be just, if the location's the address of a house in suburbia, then they're one and the same, right? But when you think about it, though, you really get down to it. In that house, if we're shooting the kitchen, we're shooting the bedroom, we're shooting the garage, those are all sets within the location. So think of it as that way, as the set can be one and the same with the location, but usually it's a component of that location. Okay, so let's jump into just really getting creative with locations because I wanted to tell you this story. But first, before we do that, I want to show you a clip from a series, and I've talked about this in a couple other videos that we did in South Africa. Amazing, a post-apocalyptic series, amazing sets. The place we shot there so here's a perfect example of a location, a place we go to that is just one location after the other is just breathtaking. And we were able to get those fairly inexpensively as compared to had we shot this in the States. So that's the benefit of us going to a place where we had tax incentives. So there was a lot of good things. In the big scheme of things, this series was a lower budget series, even though it was about $6 million. But that's an instance of finding a location, a place to shoot that we were able to get more bang for our buck. Okay, so back to what I'm going to show you this clip. So we had to do pickups here in the States of a bunker, and it was post-apocalyptic. And so I had the challenge of trying to find this set here for very little money. So check out this clip, and then I'll talk more about it when we get back.
The Son of Man will come again with his angels in the glory of his Father's hand, to repay those according to what they've done. So we wait. Those of us who are left, we wait and we wonder.
So really cool, huh? You see all the neat nuances of this set. So here's an example of where we got creative. I So little backstory. My son and I love escape rooms. We started them almost 5 years ago, and I was just floored by the production value or the production design of these escape rooms, which that's what gave me the clue to really think about finding this location here in the States. I thought, okay, well, what are the chances that they have a post-apocalyptic escape room in, Los Angeles or surrounding areas? So, of course, I went and sure enough, they did. Now, granted, the pictures, when I first saw them, I was like, okay, I think this could be it. But once I visited it, I was just floored. And what was interesting, it was out in Pasadena. They put it in it was in a basement of an old building. Like, it was so perfect. Now, what was really even great about this space is that, when you look at these things, you're thinking, oh gosh, how much are they going to charge me? Remember, I had limited budget, but everything in this place was just so perfect. So what was nice is that they mainly worked during the weekends. So I was able to schedule this during the week, get a great price for it, buy them out for the whole day. And there you go, So this is a perfect example of like thinking outside of the box for your locations, because you just never know. Pretty cool, right? I thought it was a pretty good find because I was panicking as to how the heck am I going to do this for $1? You did it over the pond over there for like pennies. So that leads me into my next point, which is budgeting for your locations. So in this case, this was pickups. I put some money in the budget knowing I had to shoot some things in the state, but I put just enough because we came in by the hair of our chinny chin chin. But when you budget for your productions, for locations, you need to consider several lines, right? So you're going to have the actual site fees, and then you'll also consider the cost for permits. So here in LA, you really can't get away without permitting where you are, and if you do try, you got to be real small and you got to do it on the down low. But if you're doing it legit, which you really have to, because there's so many elements in play. Like, let's just say if you were going to shoot in this house on the street here, I'm going to have to bring in trucks. I'm going to have trailers. I have certain things. There's no way I'm hiding that. So I would have to permit with the city that I'm in here and pay those fees. Now, some cities are higher than others here. Like this particular city is incredibly high for filming. Whereas if I went deeper into Los Angeles and I'm under the umbrella of what we call Film LA or Los Angeles, you can get permits to shoot for 2 weeks in LA for $700 or something. Whereas here, it's like $3,000 for the day. It's ridiculous. And they will require firemen. They require, firemen, but fire or police, like security here. All these little extra things that you're like, really? But they add up. And these guys are like $15 an hour. It's something ridiculous. So, yeah. So you need to make sure you consider your permits. You also have to consider costs for base camp. Where are you setting everything up? Where are you staging everything? Especially if you can't do it in the house. You can't do it in the surrounding area. You may need the park across the street to handle parking, to handle catering, to handle staging the trucks if you don't want to pay for them to be on the road. So there's a lot of logistical type of things you need to think about. A great location manager is something you need. Now, lower budget, you're looking at the location manager. Yes, indeedy. But, it's a lot of responsibility. You have to post. You have to, again, managing every little element of how the actor gets from point A to point B, your crew, where they put everything. And then, even in the house, like if we were shooting this scene, we're shooting this scene today, and I had a whole crew. Which I don't. It's just the crew of one. then, I would, the owner of the house might be like, you can't put anything on the walls. Or, you know what, watch the banister. You should, I just painted so-and-so, you can't go into this area. So there's a lot of like ram board you have to buy, and protecting certain places of the house, like everything to the T of what the owner wants. If you want to be in the house, you have to check this box. You have to do it. Well, location manager, that person has eyes on all these sort of things. So if you're taking the job, which I did a lot, you got some double duty to do. But it's something that you definitely need to consider when budgeting. So those costs. So yeah, there's a lot to it, guys. There's a lot to it. I need you to, kind of keep that in the forefront. But nothing replaces when you get the house and you just got this amazing location. You're like, this is going to look so beautiful in the movie. So it's worth all the work. All right. So let's go over some, some scouting tips. When you're planning your scout, just make sure, you're pretty efficient about what you're doing. A lot of times when I'm, doing a scout, I'll maybe divide the city up into certain quadrants, and I'll work through efficiently to get through, because it's a lot during the day that if you don't plan it out right, traffic and getting from point to point can be hard. Now, granted, you're working with the schedule of the owners of the locations, but yeah, try to do your best there. Scouting tips also. So like I said, I just happen to be familiar with escape rooms. I know I knew to look there, but there's a lot of databases out there. So let's just say you want to shoot in South Carolina. Well, the Film Commission there has a database of all the great locations that could possibly be available to you. And most states have that. So if you're just thinking big and you just want to step outside the box and you want to shoot in South Africa, or you want to shoot over in Romania, Bulgaria, see again things, yeah, I've shot there. Then there are ways to get in touch, to get to those databases through the film commissioners in those areas. So really great resources there. And then in the States, I would say, you've got some smaller type sites like Gigsgter and what's that other one? Peerspace. I almost forgot. But here in LA, they do have a database. They do have a Film LA database. But nothing beats, also I have driven by places where, I was looking for like a biker house. Yeah, I was doing a series where we had the lead biker where all of them kind of converged. So not quite a biker club, because I still wanted the house feel. And literally I'm driving to one location that's next door, and I look to my left, I'm like, oh my gosh, and this guy had all these bikes and stuff, and I'm like, this place looks amazing. So I literally pulled up. And I was like, hi, excuse me, I'm doing a movie and it's about this. And he was all in it. And turns out he was a part of a bike club and he worked on bikes. So hello. And I got it for pretty expensive. And it was next door to the main set, the main location. Okay, so I'm just saying, sometimes you just got to go knock on a door. Okay, all right. All right, so let's talk about a few more tips here. I want to talk about repurposing locations. All right. So one of just getting real clever and creative is like multi-purpose use of a location you already have. So let's just use this house, for example. So you've walked through. It looks like everything you need for your scene. It's moderate, middle income home. That's what you're looking for. So I was trying to say, the words aren't coming out. All right, and then you find a guest house in the back. And this guest house looks pretty good. It's like a single bedroom studio. It's got a full kitchen and so and so. And you're thinking, I'm thinking, what else do I have to shoot in my movie that I could shoot here? So I've done that a lot, where maybe I had a small apartment in a script and I'm like, okay, we can repurpose this guest house and we can make it look like, so maybe it was, someone maybe on a lower income would be and maybe the guest house looks a little too nice. Well, you could redress that, okay? And then you just go shoot an exterior of an actual apartment building that looks more in line with what you visioned for the character. So I've done that a lot, where now you're just, you shoot the interior here, shoot the exterior someplace else, boom, you put it together in post. Voila, no one knows the difference. So it's, and then also exteriors like the roads, the streets. Are there other things that you can do while you're at that location as well? Some walking, talking scenes. There's a park not too far from here, so can I go to that park and shoot out some things while we home base out of here? So then now you're getting real efficient. You're like, okay, well now we can knock out that scene, that scene, that scene, that scene, all in this area, just because now you're just thinking through a different lens. So repurpose your locations. Really consider that. More bang for your buck. All right, so we're going to sum it up here with a few things that aren't too sexy, but very necessary, because I like to always dig into these housekeeping tips. Housekeeping. One of my favorite movies, Tommy Boy, is a line from that. So that's my favorite little phase. Okay, I won't go into that. All right, legal considerations. Make sure you have your paper in order. I did a video on legal delivery. This is one of those things that you need to have in order, your locations contract. Make sure that you have everything covered that you need to have covered in that contract. For instance, you want to shoot in this room, and you have all this beautiful artwork here, okay? Well, lucky for you, I shot that photograph. Actually, my son shot that photograph. That's the Matterhorn. Great trip to Switzerland, by the way. Fantastic. I was scared. It was like way up there, but I digress. Okay, so that picture. Well, since I shot it, I own it, right? That's my picture. Well, if you're like, I love that picture, I want to shoot it in this scene and I need it right behind Anna's head. Well, you just need to make sure in your agreement you have those things laid out. Artwork on the walls that the owner shot, to, different things around here, all the props that were used in this scene that the homeowner owned, we have permission to shoot. Simple as that. Now, there are business affairs people that can word that better, but it's literally, that's what you're trying to say. You're just trying to get a release to just have the right to shoot everything you see here. Now, granted, if I didn't own this picture and it was some sort of famous artist, then you know what you need to do? Take it down. Don't bother with it. It'll cost you too much money to clear it, cost you too much time to do it. Just replace it with something that is cleared, or take it down. Okay? That's one of the best advice I can give you right there. Saves you a lot of headache later. All right, so basically the key takeaways here is just, we understand the difference between locations and sets. We are thinking creatively now. We're really thinking creatively about how we put this puzzle together, how we get more bang for our buck. That is going to get you so far. And then obviously planning ahead, getting your legal in order. This is the time to do it. Make sure those contracts are signed off. Make sure you have your permits. Just check those boxes. Okay? All right, so I hope that was helpful for you, because if you're at this phase now, that means you got your money. You are now starting pre-production, and you're going out and you're location scouting, and I am so excited for you. Okay, so make sure you watch this video, make your list, check it twice, and again, these are just tools for your producer toolbox. In order to make your vision a reality. That's what I'm here for. Excited to do that for you. So, comments, questions, like, subscribe, all that, do your thing below. And as always, remember, together we create.